What is going on? Welcome to another edition of You Guessed It. You Can't Make This BS Up. It's your boy, Joel Davis, back in the building with you guys once again. Man, I tell you, 2026 is already starting off a little crazy for me. I'm once again in the midst of trying to figure out my new situation with some things. I may be once again changing into the job market. Got some things in the works, and I may be having a more time to concentrate on the podcast. I have made a decision in 2026 that I want to do stuff where I can actually work for myself and to actually collaborate with more of the genre of the true crime, because you as my fans deserve it. Y'all deserve to get all of me, not some of me, when it comes to this podcast. I made this podcast not only just to expose true crime as in serial killing, scandals and scams, and even infamous drug cartels and illegal organization and Ponzi schemes. I also did this because I wanted people to understand that there are so many myths about crime, true crime out there, that I wanted to debunk. One of the myths is, like, there are black serial killers. Another myth is that they are also Ponzi schemes that are also have been constructed not only by just rich white Americans, but also black African Americans and other minorities. Just want people to understand that crime does not discriminate. It's not in one type of group. Crime is crime. And I think that exposing it and showing it is the only way that will make everybody understand what it's all about. Now, before I get started, I want to give a thank you to some of the people that have been holding me down when it comes to the comment section. We're about to do some thank yous to some of the comments that's been recently brought to my attention by the powers that be on Spotify. You guys know I'm still on Spotify, but I have a new hosted company that I am working with that has actually got me monetized quicker, and I can be able to give you guys more ability and freedom to continue doing what I do. But please, by all means, do not forget, or do not be, how can I put this, reluctant to donate. You want to donate to the podcast, please do. I always got the links down below. But we just got new sponsorship a little bit, and we're trying to also do a lot more when it comes to ads, because getting monetized on Spotify is a little bit harder for us male content creators in the true crime element. Maybe it's because our voices is not as soft and as gorgeous as a lot of my female counterparts that do this. Nothing against them, but it's just a little bit harder for us to get the money. Anyway, I want to give a special shout out to Miss Jasmine Fuller. She really came through. And this is by the way of True Love and Alibis group and Melanated Mysteries Facebook group as well. Shout out to Tiffany Green and my boy Willie. They really always promote me, especially Tiffany. Let me tell you, Tiffany is a great businesswoman and a very thorough podcast when it comes to podcasts. Also, I cannot forget about my girl Renee Davis, who has the same last name as I do. We may be related. I don't know. But I know Miss Renee is one of the best storytellers when it comes to this true crime game. Please. Her podcast is Melanated Melon Mayhem. Excuse me, not Melanated. Melon Mayhem. Check them out. These are the most hardworking people as well I know. Also, let's not forget my boy who I've always been my day one A1, Antoine, aka King Arthur, who has the podcast Not My Brother's Keeper, aka a true crime black podcast about black dudes who kill. I can't do it like you do it. My voice ain't feeling it tonight. Also to the infamous one, Sip of Red Rum. They always promote my stuff. And let's not forget the infamous ones and Hot Garbage. That's right. That's Buddha Rat and my lovely co-host over there. Oh my God, I forgot her name. Please do not be mad at me, because I know you always promote me all the time over there. But please, definitely check them out too as well. And my boy Anthony on Bitch I Can. So, all right, enough of me always giving these rundowns of everybody. But let's get to the comments right quick before we start the story. Jasmine Fuller, her comment is, yes, I listen to them all. That's how I found you for Melon Mysteries podcast. You're doing a great job. I enjoy listening to you. Thank you, Miss Jasmine. Please keep sharing me. She also talked, and that was off of Yuri Jenkins, aka Mr. Too Good to Be True Part 1. And she also commented on the other one that I did, Nanny Dodge. Y'all remember the grandmother that will kill by making you ill? It was the ad for me. You said Richard had warranty from the ad. Perfect timing. So I appreciate you, Miss Jasmine. I'm glad you love how I do my podcast and enjoy it. Hey, I do this for you guys. All right, so tonight's story, man, today's story, because I'm doing it at night, but by the time y'all read it, it's going to be the daytime. So today's true crime story is coming out of the state of Louisiana. That's right, South Louisiana, aka Baton Rouge. And our perpetrator is Derrick Todd Lee. Imagine. Just imagine you living in the South back in the 90s. Especially a place like Baton Rouge, Louisiana, off the bayou, crawfish, good tunes, good low country boil type of scenario with a Louisiana twist, getting to go out and have a good time with your friends and family. But at the same time, there is someone who is lurking, who has no chill at all. And all they want to do is violate you and destroy you because you're a woman. And that's where Derrick Todd Lee comes in. The man that is the nightmare for Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in this story here. So let's go ahead on and get into this. Let's talk about who Derrick Todd Lee. How in the world did a man like this become the most terrorizing person that you could ever meet? Alright, so let's start about the beginning, right? Because we already know every monster has an origin story. And Derrick Todd Lee ain't nobody different. Oh my God. Derrick Todd Lee is a pretty fucked up character. We're not even going to act like he's not. Derrick Todd Lee came in this world ready to raise hell on November the 5th, 1968 in St. Francisville, Louisiana. That's a small town north of Baton Rouge. It's the kind of place where everyone knows everyone. And we already know secrets don't stay very long. His mother, Florence Lee, was just 17 when she had him. And his dad, Samuel Ruth, oh, he was a piece of shit. Okay? Samuel suffered from bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and major depression. But that's not what made him a piece of shit. See, he was violent too. See, he was the type that he liked to put hands on Florence and the kids when things didn't go his way. But sooner or later, I guess he got tired of putting hands on everybody and decided to leave the family when Derrick was young. And then Samuel even got arrested later on down the road whenever Derrick was an adult in 1991 for manslaughter. Attempted manslaughter. And he ended up in a psych ward. So, again, the apple don't fall far from the tree in this story. But we're really not talking all about Samuel Ruth. Let's keep going with this story. Now, Florence remarried a guy named Coleman Barrow. And they raised Derrick and his sister in a mostly black neighborhood in Independence, Louisiana. Derrick was a hyperactive as a kid. Restless, always on the move, spent a lot of time with his relatives, and he loved bird watching in the woods. You know, an innocent hobby where he could just get away from all of the issues that life was giving him and just lose himself. But it seemed like that was just a gateway to the start of him being very creepy real quick. Because by the time Derrick was 9, oh, he was staring at people for hours without moving. Then he decided to start peeping on girls, including his own cousins and sisters. And I say peeping, we talking about like trying to see if they can remove their clothing so he can see things that he don't need to be seeing at that age. Then he got to the part where he started bedwetting even more. And this didn't stop until he got into his early teens. Now, y'all already know that's one of the major signs on the scale of a serial killer in the making. The bedwetting, hurting animals, the peeping. Oh, we ain't finished yet. And let's talk about he sucked his thumb all the way up until he was in high school. Again, classic red signs, right? Then he went to West Feliciana High School. But he was in special ed classes for speech issues. And he wasn't that bright because of his delayed development of the brain. It seemed like on his IQ test that he took even when he was in school, he was registered between 70 and 91. which is a borderline intellectual disability because your normal IQ is supposed to be about 120. He wasn't even hitting 120. Again, 70 to 91. He was about 19 points short. And, well, not even 19. Actually, yeah, 29 points short. I'm sorry. I missed math that. And he was getting bullied relentlessly. He dropped out in the 11th grade after getting in some fights. And basically, people just written him off like a loser. So you already know this is a recipe for disaster. Oh, yeah. But in 1987, at 19, Derrick moved to Zachary, Louisiana, about 20 miles north of Baton Rouge, with his girlfriend, Jacqueline Denise Sims, who everyone called Jackie. And he got a job as a pipe fitter, then in construction for big companies like Exxon and Formosa Plastics. Then they wound up getting married in 1988. He had a son named Derrick Jr. the same year and a daughter, Doris, in 92. But this is where it gets a little unbelievable. Derrick started showing his true colors. He twisted Jackie's arms during arguments and started putting hands on her like his daddy used to put hands on his mama. Left her alone in the hospital right after she gave birth. He cheated constantly. He liked to hang out at the bars. And by the mid-90s, he just could not keep his behind out of jail. Jackie wound up filing for a restraining order in 99 after more abuse. And Derrick blew through an inheritance on cars and bling filed for bankruptcy in 2002. Now, what the story was, someone in his family had passed away, I guess, and whatever the inheritance that he got that from, he just went hog wild crazy. Then he fathered another son outside of the marriage named Derrick, with a woman named Cassandra Green back in 99. And then on the surface, he was just a working class guy, blue collar, scraping by, just a little misunderstood. But underneath, there was a predator definitely brewing. Hey guys, I want to talk to you right quick about a new water that I want you to try, okay? And it's called Patriots, okay? Now, Patriots is really, really, really good to use. Especially when you're trying to quench your thirst and not have all these other basic tasting waters. Well, let me tell you a little bit about why I say you need to try Patriot. See, it boosts your immune system. All right. You can experience the detoxing power of Patriots because it's going to really flush out all the toxins and revitalize your body naturally. It's going to keep you energized and refreshed. Because it's got like the liquid oxygen solution crafted with vitality and anti-aging in mind. It also going to empower your wellness journey. Good for when you working out, and it's going to enhance your body's natural defenses with each invigorating goal. Now, I tell you what, if you go and follow my links on my description right now and put in the code YCMTBSU, you can get about 30% off of this product. Again, put in the actual letters YCMB, and you can get that 35% off. All right. And I'm telling you, you'll love this product and you'll thank me later. So now, coming back to Derrick Todd Lee, before he became a full-blown serial killer, it seems like everybody was letting this guy slip through the cracks. Because again, he was showing to everybody that he was a family man. But the signs were there. Already, he was peeping. He had a violence. He had entitlement issues. And we also got to visit his rap sheet right quick. All right. So, again, before he became the serial killer as we know Derrick Todd Lee to be, his criminal record was like a roadmap to hell. So it started off small, and then it just started ramping up. It kicked off at age 13 in 1981. He burglarized a candy shop in St. Francisville. He got probation. Then, after 3 years later, at 16, he pulled a knife on someone in an attempted second-degree murder beef. No charges filed, unbelievably, which is crazy. By 1986, people were talking about him peeping into their windows. That's right. And then he was convicted of unauthorized entry in 1988, disturbing the peace in 1990 after fighting his father-in-law. I want you to get that right in your head. This guy is fighting his father-in-law. Yeah, really is the winner here in the husband department. Then things really escalated in 92. He broke into a locked house where 2 girls were home alone. That's pretty creepy, ain't it? 1993, he was linked to slashing 2 15-year-old girls at a cemetery. Now, they got him 4 years hard labor for the burglary, but he was paroled after 2 and out in 95. He got popped in Lake Charles for more peeping, Tom, bullshit, and theft, and then that got a suspended sentence. And in 1997, he was arrested for prowling at another cemetery. Again, this guy is like Jeepers Creepers on steroids. I want you to think about what I just said so far. I'm not even finished with half of the list. You would think that all of this recurring issues that someone would have said, don't we need to lock this guy up? We'll continue. But the stalking got intense in the late 1990s. Because, see, he harassed 36-year-old Colette Walker, followed her home, broke into her apartment, demanded her number while acting all charming. Listen, I understand that it's called if you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again, or be persistent. But no woman wants to be pursued to the point that they're told you no and you follow them all the way inside their house. But again, the police just did nothing to this guy. In 2002, he pulled a woman's arm in Bridge while let's just say being nasty and taking care of himself in public. Restraining orders flew, but Lee just kept going. Because in his mind, restraining orders don't mean a damn thing. You can't make this BS up, man. Police had him in their sights multiple times, but he slithered away like a snake in the bayou. This pattern of peeping, breaking in, and escalating violence, it was just a preview of what was to come. But let's start talking about the murders that shook Louisiana. All right, so I'm going to give you a fair warning. This segment gets graphic. So if you're sensitive to details of violence, I would basically tell you to skip ahead until we get to the end of this episode. But if you are willing to stick it out with me, I promise you when I tell you this story, this will educate you on how to be aware of when there are the most dangerous people that you can ever deal with are around you at all times. So, let's get started. But to understand how unbelievable the story is, you got to face these facts, right? Derrick Todd Lee is officially linked to at least 7 murders between 1998 and 2003, all in Baton Rouge and Lafayette areas. His MO, breaking into homes without forced entry, often posing as a well-dressed homeless guy, construction worker named Anthony. He stalked victims. He would violate them. And I have to say violate them because this is going on YouTube. But then kill or delete by snuffing them out via suffocation, if you know what I mean, or stabbing or bludgeoning. He removed cell phones to delay discovery, and in some cases, he would dump the bodies in remote spots like the Atchafalaya Basin. Most victims were young white women, but not all showing he was opportunistic. Now, see, this is what was kind of crazy with me about this case. Unlike other serial killers that we talked about that are people of color, most of the people of color serial killers I talk about, they mostly focused on black prostitutes and or black women that were addicts in the hood, or just black women in the hood in general. He was different. His victims were mostly white, normal, hard-working, regular blue-collar women. So it was like that was his fascination. He didn't want to deal with. He never. I don't think he hardly ever in any of his victims were black. I think all of his victims were mostly white, as far as I can do with my research. But we'll get to the nitty-gritty in a minute. So let's honor the victims by telling their story and telling it the right way. The first victim was Randy Jane Mabrar. She was 28, a single mom from Zachary. She disappeared around April 18th or 19th in 1998. Lee had stalked her before he peeped on her. He broke in, he attacked her so viciously there was blood everywhere, dragged her out, violated her. Her body was never found. Just her keys and some dumbbells missing. Cops initially eyed her ex-husband, but he had an alibi. Unbelievable, huh? Lee was right under their noses right there. Now let's jump to victim number 2. September 23rd, 2001, Gina Wilson Green, 41, a successful nurse and mom in Baton Rouge. She was found strangled in her home, violated, undressed in the kitchen, posed on her bed. Her phone tossed in the trash. Ex-husband and a painter was questioned. But after that, they didn't have no suspects. Then there was January the 14th, 2002, third victim, Geraldine Bar de Soto, 21 years of age, a student in Addis, just west of Baton Rouge. Lee knocked, posed as a needing a phone. Once inside, he bludgeoned her. She grabbed an unloaded shotgun to fight back. Brave as hell. If you let me say, if I would have saw that, you would think it would scare him off. Not Lee. He stabbed her multiple times in the back, the chest, and the throat, and stomped on her body after. Her husband found her. Tampered with the scene accidentally because the initial suspect. Accidentally. And then he became the initial suspect. Heartbreaking situation, huh? Fourth victim, May the 31st, 2002. Charlotte Murray Pace, 22. A fresh LSU MBA grad in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Ready to take on the world. But unfortunately, Lee was the one to take all her dreams away. Ambushed her home, violated her, stabbed her 81 times with a screwdriver during a fierce struggle. 81 times. But she fought like hell. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough against this monster. I tell you, this case already making me mad as hell. July the 9th, 2002. This right here is one of his victims that you could tell, as my girl Renee Davis would say all the time, she had a praying grandmother. And in this time, she had to have a praying grandmother and a great grandmother some way. Because Diane Alexander, 46, in Bow Bridge, Lee posed as a construction worker. Lost. Forced his way in with a knife. Choked her. He tried to violate her, but couldn't perform. But because of that, he beat her senseless. Her son walked in. Scared him off. Diane was in a coma for 2 days. Hospitalized for 5. Her description: a gold Mitsubishi Mirage and smooth talking black man. Key clue. Just 3 days later, July the 12th, Pamela Kinamore, 44 years old, antique shop owner in Baton Rouge, abducted from her home, beaten, tied up, driven to Whiskey Bay, violated, throat slit, body mutilated. He took her toe ring as a trophy. Sperm was found, but not enough for a full DNA then. Because you got to remember, back then in the early 2000s, DNA was in its infamy of solving cases, but it's just, you had to have a certain amount. It's not like it is now where you don't even have to have that much, and it can give you everything you need and then some. November 21st, 2002. Trenisha Dene Colon, 23, from Lafayette, abducted, violated, bludgeoned to death. Body dumped in a forest near Scott. Found 3 days later. Now, this is the one that was black. I didn't know if he had a black victim, but he did. So there was one black victim. This right here threw him off because it broke the pattern. Finally, March the 3rd, 2003. Carrie Lynn Yoder, 26, a grad student in Baton Rouge, abducted, violated, beaten, strangled, body in Whiskey Bay, 10 days later. Now, here is the other ones that he is suspected to possibly be involved in. Connie Lee Warner in 92. Christine Moore in May of 02. Mary Ann Fowler disappeared in December of 02. Even Eugene Bonfontaine in 97. But DNA cleared him later. Yeah, you can't make this BS up. There's somebody else that probably got involved in that. The sheer number, the brutality. These women are daughters, they moms, students, their lives stolen by a coward who preyed on their trust. All right, guys, we'll be right back with some more of this story. In the meantime, while I talk about this story, get back in the story, we got to go and talk to the people that is making sure that we take it care of too. And by the way, I want to make a typo. That is 15% off on that water that I just talked about earlier. So that is 15% off on that ad. But let's get back to some more of the other things that we have your way. All right, guys. I don't know about y'all, but I love my regular glasses, but I also like to have the have the type of wallet that go with my glasses that are easygoing and not as difficult to be trying to figure out. So let's talk about it. There's a brand that I just recently partnered with called Distill Union. Now, Distill Union has this flexible type of wallet where it's not bulky. You can put your cards and cash in, even though I know some people still hold cash. And it's just very simple, very sleek, and doesn't take up a whole lot of room. Now, they were founded in 2011. They created the problem-solving everyday essentials for light wallets, your key organizer, and phone cases and stands. The wallet feature is slim profile with innovative magnetic closures for secure and stylish card storage. Now, the Ferris module key organizers use magnets to keep your essentials neat, connected in one streamlined setup. Its versatile phone stand, cases, and accessories are designed to enhance daily convenience with style. And you can find them all at distillunion.com. Again, they have everything that you need for your everyday life, and they backed by a 3-year warranty on all their products. So, when you go over there, use that promo code. Y'all know what it is, YCMTB. SU. Again, YCMBSU. I mean, YCMT BSU. All right, let them know, man. Joel sent you from You Can't Make This BS Up. Now, getting back to the madness. By 2002, panic gripped Baton Rouge. Women are buying guns. They locking doors. The task force is linked to the crimes via similarities. No forced entry. Cell phones gone. And violation as well. But the unbelievable screw up, eyewitnesses in an FBI profile pegged the killer as a white man driving a white truck. Did you hear me right? A white man driving a white truck. Now, guys, we already talked about this on all the black podcasts. And even though I don't really try to put my category as talking about only black crime, but it is been known as a myth that has been circulating in America and even in the black community that black serial killers are really non-existent. But it's a lie. Because if it was really true, we wouldn't be talking about this case, right? About Derrick Todd Lee. But let me proceed. The DNA they tested, they said over 2,000 white guys that had white trucks. That wasted time and resources. But that's cool because it turns out a company called DNA Print Genomics analyzed ancestry from the scene DNA. And when they did, 85% is sub-Saharan African. Boom. That's right. The killer was black, guys. You're looking for a black man. Sorry, it ain't no white man in the white truck. Now let me say this: when I did do my research on the Mark to Kill, which is the name of the episode that I got a lot of this information from, as well as research off of Oxygen Channel, they thought that it was a white man in a white truck because some eyewitness said that they saw a white man driving a white truck with a white woman naked in the vehicle, slumped over out of it. Which to me, I don't know why somebody just didn't write a license plate down and just called the police. But then again, maybe it was true what the eyewitness saw, and maybe it was just a white woman that had a rendezvous with her lover and just decided not to put no clothes on and let it all hang out. I don't know. But to me, it's crazy that they got it screwed up. So site profiler by the FBI, Mary Ellen O'Toole, nailed it. Charming, manipulative. Diane Alexander sketch matched. Zachary Cox remembered Lee from Peeping. Had his DNA from prior arrests. They went on head on and matched it against the scenes that they already had of the DNA collected. And the manhunt was launched. Now Lee felt the heat. So May 10th, 2003, he went to Detroit. And after Detroit, he went to Atlanta. He was hid in motels. He even tried a shelter. But he got busted May 27th in Atlanta Polar Rock area. He waived extradition back to Baton Rouge on 5 murder charges. Now this is what's crazy. Whenever there's a video clip showing this guy coming back from Atlanta to face charges in Baton Rouge, when the cameras was on him from the local news station and everywhere else that see him coming back to Louisiana, he screamed out to them saying, "I ain't killed nobody. I don't know why I'm here. I'm innocent." Bruh, they had your DNA. They told you that to begin with when they got you. Come on, fam. They didn't get you for no reason, bruh. So the trial began in August 2004. He was convicted of second-degree murder in Geraldine DeSoto's case. He got life without parole. His low IQ, around 65, raised incompetence questions. But he was deemed fit because in their eye, they was like, player, you don't play that low IQ shit for too long. It's time for you to go ahead on and get ready to rumble with justice. October the 14th, 2004, he was found guilty of violating and first-degree cutting off people water in Charlotte Murray's Pace death. He was sentenced to death by, you got it, that lethal shot, baby. Louisiana Supreme Court upheld it in 2008. But wait, another serial killer, Sean Vincent Gills, was operating in the same area at the same time. That's right. Two monsters in one city? You can't make this BS up. It's kind of like what was going on in Los Angeles back in the 80s and 90s when they had about, at one point, they said they had about 10 to 15 different types of serial killers roaming around in the Los Angeles and California, Southern California area. Scary, ain't it? Diane Alexander testified, but get this. She sued for a $100,000 Crime Stoppers reward and lost. Oh my God. The BS of it all. So, after all of the aftermath and trials that happened, Lee spent 12 years on death row and at Louisiana State Penitentiary and never got a chance to get executed. He left this world burning hell wide open on January 21st, 2016 at 47 from heart disease at a hospital in Zachary. The same time where he started his crime. Poetic justice? Maybe. Families got some closure, but the scars remain. Books like I've Been Watching You by Tony Clanton details the hunt. Podcasts, docs, it's all out there. But what blows my mind? How initial assumptions delayed justice. Thank God DNA saved the day, but at what cost? 7 lives. Damn. So, I'm going to give you my synopsis of this story about what I think about from the investigation all the way down to the suspect. Let's talk about the investigation. The justice system of Louisiana, especially in Zachary, Louisiana, y'all could have been stopped this fool. Y'all allowed this man to constantly be in some BS with no consequence. And that is why we are here where we at right now. This could have been prevented. Y'all didn't want to prevent it. Y'all kept giving this guy a slap on the wrist. I don't know it's because you felt sorry for him because he was slow, or I don't know it's because you just didn't want to deal with it. But this man been a menace for a long time. And then he started messing around and raping all these white women. Back in that era, I thought most definitely that you would be a little bit more open-minded and focused to see that this could have been anybody. But it seemed like y'all got channel vision because you thought it was a white male, whoever profiled that wrong. And then y'all even went even more the opposite direction by listening to a witness that told y'all, oh, well, I seen a white man in a truck with a girl naked in there and she looked like she was about out of it. And then y'all went and tested over 2,000 men in that area, and 2,000 white men at that, and nothing came about of it. Y'all did not really look to analyze the DNA to get some kind of genetics. I mean, that's what DNA is for, right? To get you genetics. Y'all could have saved yourself so much pain and saved so many lives. That's the first big gripe I got. Second big gripe I got is with this guy, Derrick Todd Lee. You had to be a slow motherfucker, because you really thought that you were going to be able to kill 6 white women in the deepest part of the South, like Louisiana or Texas or Georgia or Alabama or Mississippi, that you wasn't going to eventually get found the fuck out, dude? You had to be on some bullshit. In that, especially in that era. Come on, man. You out here killing successful women at that. We're not talking about no ladies of the night. We're talking about women that got careers, they got mothers, sisters, and let me rephrase that. I have nothing against the ladies of the night back then, because they had to get it how they lived because of their situation. But what I'm saying is that even then, he should have known that going against regular working moms, people that are regular citizens, that you didn't think that the police was not going to dig deep and try to figure this shit out. Man, you is a complete idiot, and you deserve everything that you got. And not to mention, too, you deserve everything that you got because you have been a menace for so long that I don't see why no one should have gotten you help. I mean, the signs were there. You were peeping on your cousins and them at 9 years old. But then I get it. This is back in the time in the 70s and 80s that black people, especially black people that live in like the hood, did not know anything about these type of signs being dangerous. And their mind is just, oh well, Junior's a little off, or Derrick's a little out there, or Derrick just a little slow. Never mind him. He ain't got good sense. He harmless. And that's what happened. Thank God that we have resources now in the knowledge now to know that if we see that going on in our children, that we need to definitely get them some type of counseling to even stop that from happening. It seems like to me Derrick had a lot more mental stuff going on than his family had any idea about, and it just turned into a shit show. That's what it wound up being, because he lost control. And there's a lot of people that go through that in mental health. That's why I'm so glad that I got my mental health under control, because God knows if I lived in the times of the 60s and 70s and I was asking for help and I was told by everyone else that I'm just weak-minded, or it's all in my head, or whatever, I probably would be on somebody's true crime podcast as a story. So again, that's just me getting off my soapbox. So that's the twisted tale of Derrick Todd Lee. Proof that evil hides in plain sight. And not to forget that there is a such thing as black people that are serial offenders / serial killers, and sometimes the system fumbles the ball. If this episode hits you hard, check resources for survivors. And thanks for listening. You can't make this BS up. I'm Joel Davis. Please do me a favor. Rate, review, share on any platform that you are on. Not to mention, too, you can support the channel by any of the links that's down below. I also will start having a Patreon, so you guys can sign up to the Patreon and start, seeing some of these other stories that I can't put in these podcasts that is real extreme. and do me a huge, 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 huge favor. If you feel like that you don't want to donate in any of those links I got, you can always personally donate to me via the iPhone to iPhone by my number 912-837-1983. Again, 912-837-1983. Anytime you want to do an Apple Pay to Apple Pay to support the show, hey, you can send it to me that way as well. And next time, another story that'll make you say, no the fuck way, and you can't make this bullshit up. Stay safe out there.